Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. Welcome to another special edition of Broken Not Shattered. My guest today is Charles Opala. For those of us who don't know Charles, I'll quickly bring you up to speed. He's a thought-provoking author, and he is a strategist and what we call a strategic leadership. What's the word again, Charles? How do we put this so guys can really know who you are? I think he's a visionary leadership strategist. That's how I'm going to call it.
Yes,
Is that we'll
yes,
take that. We'll take that. And
yes.
he has this very thought-provoking book. I am not a painter. But before we go into Charles, I just want to take a moment to say Happy Easter to everyone who's actually watching us live on today's podcast. It's Easter or Resurrection Day for some. And wherever you are, just know that this is a reminder and a time for you to reflect on the goodness of Jesus Christ. Without him, there's no us, right? He died just to redeem each and every one of us. And I can't just let the day go without saying that. So, Charles, welcome on board, brother. I'm not
Thanks
sure
for
whether
having
you're
me.
Christian, Muslim,
Thanks.
or atheist, but it doesn't matter right now.
Thanks for having me. I believe in Jesus.
Amen, amen. That's
Amen.
what I get, man. Charles, come on, man. You have this book, and what inspired you to write this novel or book called "I Am Not a Painter"? And then the title.
So, I didn't write I'm not a painter from a place of inspiration. I wrote it from a place of confrontation. There came a point in my life where I realized I was performing a life that looked successful, but it didn't feel like mine. I had mastered the optics, I had mastered the titles, the environment, the expectations, but internally there was a disconnect. I am not a painter is what happens when you stop decorating your life and start interrogating.
Wow. Say that
It's
again. Say that again, Charles. That's deep. That's deep. That's deep. Say that again.
I am not a painter is what happens when you stop decorating your life and
Wow.
start interrogating it. It's not a creative expression, it's a correction. And that's what it was for me.
A correction and not a creative expression.
Yes.
Let's unpack that. What were you trying to correct?
I was trying to correct a lot of things. First, I noticed my energies were being expended on other people's projects, living my life according to other people's description or other people's expectation, and putting my own dreams on the back burner, my own hope on the back burner, and that was what led me down this path.
Wow. You said that is most of us, isn't it?
Yes,
Majority of us are living other people's dreams. Majority of us are carrying other people's visions, right? And
yes.
I know this might not be the question you're expecting me to ask, but why? Why do people why do you think, okay, let me rephrase it. Why do you feel or why were you feeling as if you were living someone else's dream? What was it that was making you leave what you felt was your own purpose?
Fear,
Uh,
fear of failure.
uh-huh.
At the same time, it's two-sided. It was
Mhm.
fear of failure and fear of responsibility. I was scared to fail,
Yeah.
and I was scared to take on the responsibility of owning my own life. So
Wow.
I ended up blaming everybody else but myself. I blame my parents, I blame my environment, I blame my past, I even blame society. But then I realized it was on me. But that level of ownership was heavy. And that's what we are all facing. When we come face to face with our demons and we figure out all the work we need to do to get through everything, we realize it's not easy work. So instead, we find people outsourcing authorship of their life. They let culture, they let family, and fear paint, their own pictures. And then they wonder why the final picture feels unfamiliar.
Outsourcing authorship.
Authorship of their lives.
Realize.
Yes.
Wow. You know, gosh, man. Woof, man, you got me messed up. I think I know the angle I was going, but this is so real that I can't just take it as another show and just blab on because I think that this is a conversation that can actually transform someone.
Yes.
It can bring tremendous change, and we'll go back to the show. Outsourcing the authorship of someone's life, of your own life to someone else.
Yes.
It's a big issue because most of the time I see when people do that is because one, they are not sure of who they are.
True.
That's number one. Then number two, I think they are trying to fit into what society expects of them. And I think,
Society and others.
and yeah, when I say
Yeah.
that's why I
Yeah.
say society. I mean,
Yeah.
well, people, right?
Mhm.
Whether it's your family, it's your friends, your boys, and if it's a
Mhm.
female, your girls, or even the guy, your babes. Everybody has this way they feel that you should be. So,
True.
take for instance, you don't have any business in medicine, but your parents pressurize you to go and become a medical doctor, and you do it, and you're answering doctor this, doctor that, and you're moving around, right? But it's
Mhm.
not really your passion. Your passion really is honestly is to be a musician,
Mhm.
right? You just want to sing R&B. You want to use the gifts that you're beginning to, but you don't pursue it, and you get stuck pursuing somebody else's dream for you in medicine. So so you just plateau and just continue with life
Yep.
because you have actually given authorship of your life to somebody else to write it. This is so deep. I struggled with that myself for a long time. I honestly did. When you're talking, I'm looking at myself like that was my problem. Expectations, what people thought it should be, what kind of relationship you should have, who you should be with, who you shouldn't be with.
Very true.
What you should be doing yourself and what you should not be doing.
Mhm.
It's all people projecting their own expectations on someone else. Wow. Well done, Charles.
Thank you.
Well done. So
Thank you.
now you found out that it's fear and responsibility that you were afraid of. What was the next step? What did you do?
So the next step was clarity. It's and I put that in the book. There are multiple frameworks, but this particular framework is the white flag. It's I had to come to the conclusion that it wasn't weakness, that it was clarity. It's the moment when I realized that the current strategy for my life was no longer sustainable. And not because I had failed, but because I had succeeded at the wrong thing. And I
Hmm.
noticed that when I stopped getting excited about things. Like I was more exhausted than excited. Then life started becoming performative, faking smiles, faking emotions, and silence became louder than applause.
Wow.
So yeah, at that point it was truth finally interrupted my illusion. So I was like, yes, I needed to. I went to first I took a step back, did therapy, then I came to realization that not everybody was meant for me.
Oh, not everybody was meant for you.
Yes.
How did therapy help you identify that not everybody was meant for you?
Um. So I I did an audit on my life, and I put that in the book. Is in chapter one. It's the role audits. You figure out what drains you and what energizes you. So I did that, and I came. It was very exhausting because I was struggling with who I was and who I am meant to be. So there was that tug of war.
That pull.
Yes, that tug, yes.
Yeah.
And I was able to pinpoint where my energies were being wasted and how to recalibrate and redirect it. And with that, I got clarity. I lost a lot of,
Friends and associates.
yes,
Yeah.
associates. I
You
lost a
get,
lot of
no,
them.
no. It's understandable. You have to drop some weight.
My therapist said if I didn't lose anyone,
Yeah,
I wasn't doing the right thing.
and that's correct. You have
Yes.
to drop some weight. There's some people that have to say to you, you know what? We can't roll with Charles anymore. Or Charles says, I can't roll with these folks anymore. You have to drop, you definitely have to drop some extra weight. You have to say no to some folks that you've never said no to before. And in the saying of no, they either stay or they bounce. But it's either which way it's okay.
I know.
Yeah.
I've come to realize it.
Yeah.
And I preach it now, but everyone is. I notice people are scared. People
And you know the funny thing, Charles. I mean, this is a beautiful topic. You know, even your family members. Some people will just have to move on. It doesn't mean you don't love them anymore. You genuinely care about them. You genuinely love them, but either you don't fit into where they're going, or they don't fit into yours, or the expectations of what they want you to become, and who you are becoming might not fit.
So that was one of my sessions. We talked about how you being changed or you evolving doesn't mean everyone else around you is evolving.
Exactly.
You have to either do the work and help them or separate yourself. If not, they'll pull you back.
Do the work.
Yes.
And separate from them. Let's talk about the work that you might have done or you would advise people to do in this self-reflection, because that's what it is. Basically, you're getting to look deep into yourself, and it is so scary. It is so scary. I'm telling you, man. Every time I have to pause to look into myself again, because it's in stages, right? You go the first one, you look at it, and you're like, oh my God, how do I handle this? And then you take a deep breath and you take that step, you move. You got to go back again after a while to look at it again and say, okay, where am I now? What was I before? You know, how do you do the work, Charles? How do you do the work?
You first have to realize that you don't need permission to evolve. You have to come to that point in your self-realization that you do not need permission to evolve. You do not need validation to change your direction. That's first, the change is here first, is in the mind first, is in the mind. And most importantly, you do not need to keep painting something just because you've already started it.
Say that again.
You do not need to keep painting something just because you've started it.
So in other words, if it's not working, if you started it, stop, reflect, go back and try something else.
Yes.
That is a word for someone out there. If there's someone actually listening to this podcast, I hope if nothing else you get on this Easter Resolution Sunday, that you actually get the last thing Charles said. You don't have to continue painting that picture if it's not working. And you don't need anyone's permission to say, it's not working, I need to try something else. I hope that's a word for someone. Go ahead, Charles.
Yeah, I always tell people I come in contact with, like, the goal is not to create a perfect life. The goal is to create an honest one. You owe nobody an explanation as to how you should live your life. We all have our roles to play, and we have to play it well. I think that's my gospel.
Wow.
Yes.
You know, I'm taking that notes as you're talking. Literally. There are a few guests that come on board and I actually take up my pen and start writing. And for some reason, I hear my spirit man saying, you better take down some notes. Because I'm going to go back and listen, keep on looking at it and reflecting it. You don't need to create a perfect life. You just have to have an honest one.
Yes.
And that honest one is not honesty to anybody else but yourself.
For yourself, yes.
You know, one of the things that people say to you, oh, you're not transparent, right? This is where transparency actually comes in. You just have to self-reflect. And for you to, after going through this, open yourself up to someone else, there has to be a safe space.
Yes.
There has to be a safe space. And that safe space does not mean, oh, I've known this person for 10 years, I've known this person for 15 years. It just has to be where you feel I am in a safe place with this individual or this environment where I can actually start opening up.
Mm-hmm.
Until then, you might not be living that honest life. You could just be
You
living
you
what
just be
is,
performing.
yeah,
You'll all be performative.
yeah.
Yes. But at the same time, for that environment to be conducive for you, you have to separate yourself. Separation is the first key. You can't you it's like you want to take an addict off a substance, but you leave the person in that same environment. You have to separate yourself. That's the first key. Mentally, emotionally, to thine own self be true. Go work on yourself
And
first.
how does separation? What does separation look like? What's
Remove
separ- what was
yourself.
separation for you?
Physically, for me, I remove myself from the environment. I took time off to go on a meditative trip. I took a 3 month hiatus. I went somewhere to go and hide myself. I read books, I exercised, I prayed, I did the work. And at the same time, the only person who had access to me was my therapist. So my family didn't have access to me, no one had access to me. So at that point, my mom even found knew that I came back to the country in traffic. That's how she knew that I came back.
Are you serious?
But
But
yeah,
did they know you were going away? So they didn't declare you
no,
wanted.
no. I just dropped everything and left.
Can I ask you a question? I know this
Yes,
might
you
not be the right place to ask this question, but since this is what we do at a podcast, we try to be open as possible. Were you going through a mental breakdown before then, or was
yes.
this a decision, or this is a decision you just made on your own?
No, I was going through, I didn't like who I saw in the mirror. There was a season of self-loathing.
Hmm.
Every time I looked in the mirror, I saw my flaws. I could, I was even seeing my flaws in shards of broken mirrors. Like any, any reflection I look at, I saw that I wasn't living the life I was meant to live. And I tried to manage it. I tried to. That
Wow.
led me down some dangerous paths. I tried to manage it, but I couldn't.
Was it managing or was it masking?
It's both because you have to manage the figure that is carrying the mask. So
Wow.
in the quiet moments, you can take off the mask, but you still be denying yourself. You still be denying your true self, from coming out, from expressing. The mask is for the public.
Yeah. Yeah.
You on the inside, yeah.
Wow. Okay. This is some good stuff. Nice talking to you, Charles. It's been a pleasure so far having you on this podcast, and I hope somebody else is listening to this and saying, if Charles can do it, then I can do it. Where you build up the strength, and I think for me, my place of truth came when I just realized I'm not going to be here forever, and my time here on earth is very limited. And honestly speaking, I don't know when it is. It could be today, it could be tomorrow, it could be 20 years from now. I don't know. 110 years from now, 20 years, I don't know. Right.
Hmm.
And so the question is, what have I done with it? Because I only have one life to live. And it doesn't have to please everybody.
No, it doesn't.
I mastered the ability to do two things, to say no and to walk away.
Mm,
I mastered the ability to say goodbye.
mm,
If I'm making you a priority and you're making me an option, and I tell you, I feel as if you're making me an option while I'm making you a priority, and I still feel that way, I'm done. Bye bye. I don't care.
mm.
It is. I called my older brother recently, and this is me talking. He'll back you up. We're very close. But I told him, I said, dude, you're taking me for granted. He was like, what are you talking about? I said, brother, listen to me carefully. I feel You're taking me for granted. If I don't call you, you would not call me. And when you do call me, is because it's about you and not about me.
Mm.
So that you're my big brother and my brother I'm very close to, but I'm telling you, dude, I'm about to say goodbye. And it doesn't stop me from loving him. I still love him.
Oh
I
yeah,
still my
definitely.
brother. Nothing's
Yes.
going to separate both of us as brothers, but I'm not going to be heavily invested. So I mastered that thing, Charles, to say no and the ability to walk away, say goodbye. It wasn't easy, but I mastered it
Choosing yourself is not wrong.
at all.
It's not wrong.
Absolutely not. All right, let's go back to the question. Someone just asked the question for you, Charles. This is it. It says, if life is a canvas, what do you think stops people from picking up their own brush to paint a life they actually want?
Um, like I had mentioned, I'll speak from my perspective and what I see. Um, so the goal behind this is to change the old version of me I see in people. And most people aren't afraid of just failure. Like they're afraid of responsibility. I had a conversation with a friend of mine about therapy, and he said, "Why? Why would he do therapy? That he didn't grow up that way."
Especially all
Yes.
these black people.
Yeah. The moment I told like the moment people decide to pick up their own brush, they lose the ability to blame everybody else. You find people blaming, oh, this person beats me, this person hurts me, but you have the ability to change. Like if you can't change your environment, change your environment. If you can't change the people around you, change people that will be around you. It's very simple. So they can't, instead of blaming them, like that level of ownership is heavy. It's scary. It's scary. So I just tell people, instead of outsourcing this authorship, like take control. You can't blame culture anymore. You can't blame family. You can't blame your environment. That's it.
Wow. We're going to take a break. When we come up from this break, I know you mentioned red. I've heard red flags. I've never heard white flags. So you're going to tell me what like those white flag moments are all about.
Sure will.
Welcome to the BNS podcast. This is my boy Charles, and we are discussing real issues that will impact your life. So if you're actually just joining for the first time, just hang on. After this break, Charles will be back to answer that question. Welcome back to the BNS podcast. My guest today is Charles Okbala. Charles is based out of Maryland, USA, and is the author of I Am Not a Painter. Trust me, this book is nothing to do with painting or his career as a painter. It is corrective, it is reflective, and it's all about purpose. I have enjoyed my first session with him, and we're going to go into the last session. Charles, I've heard about red flags. What is white flags moment? You wrote about it.
Um, in the book, I mentioned white flag moment being about clarity and not weakness. It's when you realize that the current strategy you have for your life isn't sustainable, and not because of failure, but because you were excelling at the wrong things. And in my own experience, I noticed it when I started getting exhausted at things I used to get excited about. I started performing as opposed to living freely, and I hated the applause.
No.
I hated, yeah.
Because
I
you knew it wasn't real. It
No, it
wasn't
wasn't.
for you.
It wasn't. I could be. I noticed I started being lonely in the crowd of people.
Wow. Are these signs of anything else outside of just you being reflective? Are these signs because I'm listening to you and I can understand where you're coming from, but I'm also hearing my friends who are therapists, my friends who are psychiatrists, and saying, and I hear that a voice saying to me, these could be signs of depression. This could be signs of this and signs of that. Was that the challenge there, or was it just really all this was all self-reflective?
It was self-reflective. Before I started therapy, I wasn't diagnosed with depression. So it was just me being a thinker. It was just me being an analyzer
Wow.
and being observant and also listening to my instinct. So it was like I could tell when there's a shift in energy. I could tell when my energy started shifting.
Wow.
I could tell when my life started changing, when the emotions were forced, when the emotions were fake. Yeah. I could tell when I walk into an event or something and everybody's saying, hey, what's up? But I'll go and sit in the corner. People are having fun, but I'll go and sit in the corner.
Hmm.
I could literally be dancing.
You were isolating yourself a lot.
In the crowd, yes.
Wow.
I could be in the crowd and still be alone.
Yeah, I can relate to that. I can relate to that. Wow. In your book, there's something about happy accidents.
Yes.
Unpack happy accidents for us as we begin to wind down the podcast.
Mm. Happy accidents are disruptions that expose alignment. We've all been conditioned to label anything unplanned as a mistake. But in reality, many of those moments, many of the most defining moments in our lives come disguised as inconvenience, rejection, or redirection. The difference is how you perceive it. I I always looked at after my first round of therapy, I realized that a lot of the changes that come from my life that I actually went through in my life came from moments of pain. And those pain came from either rejection or inconvenience. But I reframed my mind and looked at it as redirection, redirecting me from what is not from me. And to get away from that point to where I'm meant to be, it accelerates me. The pain accelerates me.
Wow. Wow. This is look. Let me. This is where this is. I think everyone should get this book. Charles, where can everybody find this book? This book is one for everyone to read.
If you're in Nigeria, it's on seller.com, it's on Selfany, and is in physical stores around in Lagos and Abuja, and in physical stores in Ghana. And if you're outside the country, it's on Amazon.
So if you are in the US, right?
Yes.
Amazon.com.
Amazon.com.
Just go to Amazon. If you're in the UK, same thing. Amazon.
Amazon, yes.
All right. So guys, listen. I'm not trying to market Charles's book, but I'm telling you that this is going to be a good read, either which way. It's going to either make you read it, drop it, and run, or it's going to make you read it, reflect, and transform your life. One thing Charles said when he opened up this conversation was, and I'm talking to those who are listening now, is that the book is here to correct. It's corrective, and not just only reflective, it's corrective. Now, we all know that on this journey, sometimes our GPS will tell you, you missed your turn, redirect. And if you keep on going, it's going to keep on telling you to redirect. This is one of those redirect moments.
Yes.
This is one of those redirect moments. Charles, man, thank you for taking out time to write this book. Two more questions and we're going to wrap up the show. Let me take one from the audience so they won't think I'm just ignoring them. All right, here we go. So the book challenges the idea that success must be achieved alone. Mm-hmm. Why do you think so many people see asking for help as a form of weakness? Whoa, okay.
Because we have romanticized self-sufficiency and we've misunderstood strength.
Okay, stop. Unpack. You can't be saying this is mad. My audience were like, whoa, who's this guy? Okay, unpack that.
True strength is not isolation. Okay. It's precision. Knowing when to build alone and when to collaborate is true strength.
Right.
Yeah. People avoid asking for help because it exposes two things. One, what they don't know, and two, where they are not in control.
So some people don't ask for help because they want to be in control.
Yes, because it reveals they don't what they
Have
don't.
control. They don't know what they're doing.
Yes, yes. And it
And
reveals
so,
it. But growth requires both. You can't grow without learning and
that's
at the
right.
same time without unlearning. There are situations where you need to relinquish control
Yeah.
to grow. There are situations where you have to unlearn a lot of the things you knew to absorb newer things. And there's a level you get to where you can't absorb anything without letting go of the past things you've learned. Yes.
Yeah, I think the worst thing that can happen to anyone is not knowing and not knowing that you don't know.
Yes. The irony though is that the people we admire most are rarely self-made. They are strategically supported. So regardless, we need each other. We
So
need
they're not self-made, they're strategically supported.
supported.
In
Yes.
other words, if you owned a big manufacturing company that brings out electric vehicles,
Hmm.
you seem to be one of the richest guys in the world. It's not because you're just a genius and you're smart
Oh
alone.
no.
You just
Partnerships.
you just had good partners
Yeah.
came,
Strategic partners.
yes, that came in play to position you like that one.
Correct.
And those partners could be in form of business partners, it could be your employers or employees, whatever it is. It could be advisors, it could be your whatever it is. There's a
It,
partnership,
it could be your driver.
your driver. Yeah,
He
yes.
has a different view on life.
Yes, that's right.
You have to be willing to absorb it. It's only if you're rigid that you resist it.
And that's a sign of weakness
Yes.
because
Yes.
it's your vulnerability not allowing you to open up so anybody else can come in. So you think, oh, let me just be stiff and tight about it. And
If you are aware, you recognize it as a pivot point. That's if you are aware. And it boils down to doing the self work.
it's amazing you mentioned the driver chauffeur as a good experience. I remember many years ago, I used to do a lot of corporate training, and I had found myself in a part of, I was actually in Abuja,
Hmm.
right? And I was training one of the largest organizations out there. I can't call it by name, but it was a contract that was given to us. And I flew in with my partners from the US to actually provide that training. And a guy called Idris came to pick me up at the airport. And true story. And as we were driving from the airport into town to my hotel where I was staying at Transcorp, I asked Idris a question. I said, "How long have you been working for this company?" And he told me. And then I said to Idris, "So, what is it about this company that you like or don't like?" And remember, this is a guy who is coming in to come and train upper management, right? And I'm
Hmm.
asking a chauffeur, a company driver who's picking me up, all these questions. And he opened his mouth, and the first thing he said to me, "It's good to be good." I said, "It's good to be good." I said, "Yeah." And then he started talking about all the good things that the company has done for him, and all the good things that he feels that he owes the company in how he provides his assignment or his role as a chauffeur when he picks people up. I said, "Do you realize that you're one of the most important people in this company,
Yeah.
even as important as your DG or CEO?" He said, "No, no, no, don't say that." I said, "I'm telling you, I'm getting my first impression of this organization by you being the guy picking me up. You're
Yep.
the ambassador."
You can tell the culture of a place by how they treat the
My
lowest
world.
person.
And so I took that and I added it into part of my training instantly. Then in the training room, I said, I the first day I trained, I didn't mention his name. Second day, I felt prompted to mention his name, and I mentioned the guy's name. And then I said to them, if anybody knows who Idris's boss is, his top boss, please tell them that I'm recommending that as an ambassador for this organization, Idris' salary should be doubled or increased. And I'm from America, right? So I have my little
Yeah.
like, okay. So I said, you guys, I even started laughing. I said, no, it's not. This is not a joke. I'm serious about what I just said. That guy should be recommended for an increase in salary because he could have told me something else, but he
Yeah.
told me something that I've added to my training. It's good to be good. Guess what? Duma raised up her hand and said, I'm Idris's manager." I said, "No, you're not." Everybody said, "Yes, yes, you will." I said, "Madam, do we have a deal?" He said, "Done." I came the year after. Idris saw me and broke ranks. True experience. My colleagues were like, "Oh my world, what just happened?" I said, "It happened." So, just like you said, I think it's very important for us to see life from that perspective.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Okay, last two questions, Charles, and we're done. As the author of "I Am Not a Painter," what message would you like your readers to take away? What is the core message? There you go.
One, nobody's coming to save you.
Rabuskidaba. Say that again.
Nobody's coming to save you.
Nobody's.
Nobody.
What does that mean, though? Does that mean that you can't get help from anybody else? Or
No. Like you can't sit and wait for someone to come and help you.
yeah, you gotta move.
Change happens when you're moving.
That's right.
You have to move. You have to evolve.
Yeah,
You evolve or you die.
that's right.
Simple. Like that is the law of the land.
So,
Evolve.
my philosophy, just to piggyback what you said, right? I believe that we're always moving.
Mhm.
Is that we're moving forward or we're moving
back.
backwards?
Mhm.
But we're always moving. Is that you're moving forward or you're moving backwards? But we're always moving. So, yep.
The world will leave you behind.
Yeah. In an instant.
Yes.
I
Yes.
forget you.
Yes.
Wow. So that's the takeaway. All right. We're coming to the end of the show. There's something called the drop-off question, which the last guest had asked, and you have to answer that question. They don't know who the person is, whether it's male, female, black or white, tall, short. It doesn't matter. They're just saying the next guest, and they ask. And then you also now have to drop a question for the next guest who's coming in after you. You ready?
Yes.
There's no right or wrong answer. And our last guest says, "What is your excuse for not resting?"
I rest now. There's no excuse. I rest too.
Okay. What was the excuse for not resting before?
Back then, okay. Back then, just always wanting to be the dependable guy, the go-to guy, the available guy. Oh, Charles, yes, I'm here. Oh, Charles, yes, I'm here. Denying myself,
Rest.
my peace of mind and rest. Yes.
Rest.
Yes.
Rest. Wow. Yeah. Sometimes you just need to shut down and have that rest. So there you go. The question is answered. Charles says he rests. He does rest now, and before then he was trying to be the go-to guy. Awesome. So what's your drop-off question, Charles, as we wrap up the show?
My drop-off question for the next guest is: what is your toxic trait?
Say that again.
What is your toxic trait?
What is your toxic trait? Wow.
Yes.
All right, guys. You heard it from Charles, the author of "I Am Not a Painter." It's been a great conversation with you, my brother.
Thank you for having me.
Nice meeting you again on the podcast, and I can guarantee this will not be the last time we're going to bring you in to have this conversation. So on behalf of all of us who are actually watching the BNS podcast, we have a plan and a strategy we're working on. We want to get to 10,000 subscribers by the end of May. 10,000 subscribers. So if you're out there and you're listening, this is a personal plea. The platform is here to give voice to the voiceless, hope to the hopeless, and also to make sure that even though you're broken, you're not shattered. That's what BNS actually stands for. And so let's just keep on telling these stories, like the story of Charles just shared with us. So please help us tell your friends, like, subscribe. so that YouTube can take us to the next level, and we can actually begin to big up this platform. Charles, thank you for your time.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah,
I appreciate your time.
and for those, thank you. And for those of us who are out there, again, enjoy your Easter day, wherever you are in the world. In our famous 3 words: love, peace, and more grace. See you same time next week. Bye, Charles.
Bye.